Yo, what's going on? I go by Collier, and in today's video, I'm going to show you a fire lo-fi plugin that no one is talking about. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a sucker for a good lo-fi plugin. And the best thing about this one is it's free. After that, I'm going to break down a couple of lo-fi samples that I made that I think sound crazy. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I got a special gift for you I think you're really going to enjoy. Okay, let's go. Okay, so the plugin I'm talking about is called Lofi Oddity by Aberrant DSP. This is the same company that brought you Sketch Cassette 1 and 2, Digitalis, and Shapeshifter. What's crazy is they took the best elements of all these plugins, combined it into one, made it free. It's extremely easy to download, and you gotta go get this one. All right, I'm about to show you why you need this plugin. All right, this is what it looks like in FL Studio. One thing I like all my plugins to have is presets, and this VST definitely has some that I could work with. So the first knob, the corruption knob, is modeled after their plugin Digitalis, and at first it's just a bit crusher, but when you turn the knob, it turns into this glitchy, saturated delay, which I think is crazy. The next knob is this mystery knob, which at first it's a chorus, but then turns into this washed out reverb phaser knob, which sounds crazy. The next knob is the tape knob, which comes from the Sketch Cassette plugin, and it just models that warbled lo-fi tape sound. The last knob is a compression knob, which is modeled after their plugin Shapeshifter, and if I'm being honest, I'll use this plugin just to add some light compression to my mixes. And then lastly, you got your in and out gain knobs and your mix knob. I think the main reason why I rock with this plugin so heavy is because it reminds me of Goodhertz Vulf Compressor, which in my opinion is the best lo-fi plugin that money can buy. And Lofi Oddity can do a lot of the same things, but it's free. Now, it's not better than the Vulf Compressor, but if you're on a budget, it could definitely get the job done. The only two things I wish this plugin had, one would be like an EQ so I could kind of cut out some of the highs and lows, and some kind of like vinyl noise, hum, hiss, or crackle. That way I could really add that lo-fi sound to whatever I'm making. But if I'm being honest, it's not even a deal breaker. Like, I can do those two things real easy. So you definitely got to go get this plugin. There are like almost no drawbacks to this. Have you tried this plugin yet? How do you think it stacks up to other free lo-fi plugins like Cymatic Origin, Isotope Vinyl, Guitar Gadgets, or Lost Sampler? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, now I'm about to get into the lo-fi samples that I made. So every now and then I like to switch up my process a little bit. So for these 3 samples, I went ahead and laid out all the instruments, all the sounds, and then after I got the whole thing, then I added effects. Because I know that if I can make it sound good without effects, then when I put effects on it, it's gonna go crazy. Just try switching up your process a little bit to kind of get out of that creative rut. This will help boost your creativity. For this sample, we're gonna start at 70 BPM. I'm using Ample Guitar, probably the best free guitar VST out there. I'm using the Lounge piano. I got this a free piano from Piano Book. I'm using the Evanescent Baby Grand piano. I'm gonna do this song in a D major, so I want to make sure that my note grid highlights is checked. I'm gonna go to scale highlighting, I'm gonna go to D, and I'm gonna go to major. Once I do this, the D major scale will be highlighted. I'm gonna make a simple G major chord, then I'm gonna go down one note in the scale, and I'm gonna make an F sharp minor chord. And all I did was I just skipped a note in the scale and I placed the note. Real easy. Now I'm gonna take the middle note from both of these chords and I'm just gonna drag them up one octave just so that we can spread the range a little bit. This will make our guitar sound a little more realistic. Then I'm just gonna move each of these notes over just a little bit to strum them. Then I'm just gonna add a few filler notes using the highlighted notes from the scale. Nothing too complex, just something easy and smooth to listen to. Then I'm gonna quickly randomize my notes so everything isn't so static. For the piano, I'm just gonna use the same chords that I use from the guitar. If you're using the piano, definitely randomize and strum your notes just to increase that realism. Here, I'm just experimenting with other notes in the scale because I know they're gonna sound good. Here you can see me adding the 7th, which usually sounds good almost no matter how you use it. Here you can see I added a few notes and came up with this simple melody. Here you can see me adding a little variation to the piano just to switch it up a little bit. I don't want to do too much here, just a little bit to kind of carry the song. On the guitar, I just use Psych Delay on the chorus preset from Guitar Rig 6 and a little bit of EQ to cut out the lows. For my piano, I use the ROM reverb and then also a little bit of EQ to cut out the lows. On my accent piano that became my counter melody, I just added a little bit of Baby Come Back delay.
Okay, that's about it for the first sample. On to the next.
For this sample, I chose 90 BPM, classic lo-fi tempo. Okay, here I'm going to start with the Winterfeld piano. This is a free contact instrument from Piano Book. To start this one off, I'm going to grab a chord progression from Basis. Definitely go cop this if you haven't already. These MIDI chord progressions are crazy. Okay, I like this one right here. I'm going to go ahead and use this one. I'm going to go ahead and switch these notes around a little bit just to make this chord progression a little more unique. You can always drag notes up an octave just to increase the dynamic range a little bit. The highest notes in the chord progression dictate the overall sound of the chord progression. So here you can see I started up and I went down. This will kind of give my chord progression a more sad sounding vibe. Definitely don't forget to randomize and strum your notes. Don't be afraid to experiment here. Use notes that you know sound good from the scale and just try different things until you find something that sounds good. Now I'm going to add a few filler notes just to get the melody right. Then I'm going to copy my chord progression over with the new melody, and I'm going to switch it up a little bit just for some variation. Then I'm going to go to Key Zone Classic and get the electric piano, and I'm just going to copy the chords, not the filler notes, just to add a little bit more backing to my melody. Here I decided to switch it up just a little bit to add a little bit more flavor to my electric piano. Now I'm gonna pull up Excel to see if I can get some vocals for this sample. I ended up coming up with this. Then I'm gonna find the Rickenbacker bass. I'm gonna take all the root notes of my chord progression, and then I'm gonna just add a little bit of flavor to it. And with this, it's just trial and error, figuring out what sounds good and then following the melody in your head. This next plugin is called Elite Pianist. It has a ton of dope key sounds, so I'm gonna just use this to add a little bit more atmosphere to the sample. I'm just gonna copy over the chord progression, and then I'm probably gonna fade it out in the background a little bit. Now I'm going to speed up the tempo just a little bit because this sample's a little bit slow for my liking. Now that I have an idea of what the sample sounds like, I'm going to go ahead and add some effects to it to make it sound a little bit better. For the main piano, all I added was an EQ to cut out the lows and a little bit of reverb. For my electric piano, I just added a little bit of fruity chorus because chorus and electric pianos always sound magical. For my vocals, I just cut out a little bit of the highs so it wasn't so sharp and to kind of tuck it in the back a little bit. On my piano layer, I added just a little bit of EQ to cut out the lows, and then I added the effect rack on the Crystal Choir preset just to add a little bit more high end to it. To the bass, I don't do anything to it, I just turn it down a little bit so it's not so upfront in the mix. And that's pretty much it for this sample. Here's what it sounds like.
If you're getting anything out of this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This channel is dedicated to helping producers find incredible resources and level up their skills significantly faster. I appreciate all the help that I've gotten so far, and I hope to continue to provide y'all with value that could help you right now. Okay, on to the last sample.
Okay, for this third sample, I'm going to start with the Key Zone Classic Rhodes. I'm going to start with 90 BPM and feel it out from there. I want this chord progression to have a little bit more of a sad sound, so with the top notes I'm going to go down and then I'm going to build my chords out, skipping a note underneath my top notes. Now we have this chord progression. To make this a little better, I'm going to add the 7th note by just skipping a note and adding another top note. This will help make the chord progression a little bit more jazzier. Now I'm going to invert a few notes just to see if I can make this sound a little bit better. I promise you I'm not a music theory genius. I'm just clicking notes that I think would sound good based on the notes that are highlighted in my scale. Now I'm going to add a little top melody. Nothing too complicated, just something that could probably get stuck in your head. Always got to randomize and strum your melodies. Now I'm going to copy what we have over, and I'm going to switch up the second part just a little bit for some variation. I like this second melody right here. It's about the same as the first melody, but it's a little bit different, and it kind of shows a little bit more of a progression of a melody. Then I went ahead and got the Noir Pure Piano, and I just played this simple chord progression just for a little bit more atmosphere and to layer the Rhodes. And of course we gotta add a bass. I'm gonna just take the bottom notes from my chord progression and then add a couple notes to make it sound a little bit better. Now I'm gonna add this Angels Choir preset from the Xenology VST, and I'm just gonna copy the same chord progression over. The more I listened to the sample, the more I felt like it was missing something. So I went ahead and tried to add like a little vocal texture or something on top of this to kind of make it a little bit more exciting. I decided to add this little perk loop just to give it like a little more texture and a little bit more bounce. I threw Decimort 2 on it so it's not so in your face and it's kind of tucked in the mix. Now for me, this sample started to sound a little too happy, so I went ahead and started messing with the pitch, and in my opinion, this set the sample on fire. After I pitched this down 5 semitones, we end up with this.
Now, because you stayed with me this long, I got a special gift that I really think you guys are gonna enjoy. So the samples I broke down are actually a part of my Lo-Fi Soundscapes Volume 2 sample pack. They're included in the free version and you can get them right now, stems and MIDI included. Now you can get the full version of Lo-Fi Soundscapes Volume 2. It comes with 10 samples, stems and MIDI included, and everything is royalty free. And right now, if you buy Lo-Fi Soundscapes Volume 2, I'll throw in Volume 1 30% off. Links in the description. Okay, I hope you got something out of this video that you can use in your production today. I really want you to use these tips and these resources to just grow as fast as possible. Once again, I go by Collier. Make sure you check out Lo-Fi Soundscapes Volume 1 and Volume 2. That's my time, and I'll see you in the next one. Y'all take care.